I'm a living legend. You ain't heard yet, you not get the message. From the moment that I'm stepping in, I get a couple weapons. Yeah, I turn to a beast when I'm rapping. I'm a living.
Hey guys, Drifter here. Today we're going to be talking all about laying down in virtual reality, and I believe the MetaQuest 3 is the best headset on the market for use when laying down. You may remember a video that I made about this time last year complaining about the lack of support for laying down mode on the Quest 2. More specifically, it was an experimental feature that was unavailable for unclear reasons. Meta kind of turned it on and off depending on the update, and there weren't any other headsets on the market at the time that properly supported you while laying down, at least ones that weren't super expensive. But the MetaQuest 3 is a fantastic headset that supports natively laying down mode, which is mostly what we're going to be talking about today. But please do keep in mind this video is sponsored by Meta, and more specifically the MetaQuest 3. If you would like to purchase your own or any software or accessories or anything, you will find links down there below in the description. Drifter from the future here. I wanted to let you guys know that I realize it's a weird week to be uploading a video sponsored by Meta, but I signed the contract for this over 2 months ago and had it all filmed over 2 weeks ago. And even though Meta's had a wild week in the news doing a lot of things that I personally don't approve of and don't like, I did sign a contract, I am a man of my word, and I did thoroughly enjoy my Quest 3S, so try to take the advice a lot of my fans give me. Put the politics of Meta and its products aside, and let's just try to enjoy the video. But I do want to take a moment to talk about something the company has done right, which is laying down mode and the MetaQuest 3S. Laying down mode has several benefits because, unlike regular gaming, VR gaming can be physically demanding. You are almost always sitting or standing, you're bearing the weight of a headset on your head and face, and you're constantly doing something with your hands, reaching, interacting, touching, using the wands, hitting the blocks in Beat Saber, something like that. And there is plenty of regular able-bodied people that just get tired and worn out from playing VR games. There's even VR exercise games that will leave you dog-tired by the end of it. But if you're disabled, like me, you might find this physical activity to be a little bit too demanding. And in my case, I have weak hands, so holding things is difficult, and a weak spine, so sitting upright for really long periods of time, also difficult. So between people that just don't want to work out every time they play VR and people like me that are disabled, I think that there's a huge and historically underserved market for lower impact experiences and calmer ways to use VR. Enter laying down mode. First of all, laying down mode is really easy to enable. You just go to settings, you find the advanced features, and then in the advanced features, you'll find the laying down mode. You can toggle it on and off. Once it's toggled on, the headset is ready to be swapped into laying down mode with a simple button press. All you have to do is hold down the Oculus button on the controller, pointing at whatever direction your head points when you lay down, and it'll recenter your field of view to being more vertical. You can also use touch commands with your hands, which work really nice on this headset, but we'll talk more about the hands, hand tracking and touch commands later. The guide, both in the headset and online, says that laying down mode is for low impact activities, and based on my usage, I would agree. It basically gives you complete support to reposition your view to the ceiling and allows you to lay down on the bed, the floor, the couch, wherever, and just chill and watch videos while trying to maintain as many of the app's features as possible. A lot of apps don't let you recenter view easily. Sometimes you recenter the view, but the menus don't come with you. Sometimes the app spazzes out if you look too high above, or if your controllers do a thing. It disables a lot of that, and it basically tries to give the best hardware level support for the app as possible. And I think this is God tier for 360 VR videos. There are hundreds of apps on the Meta Store that offer varying types of premium experiences for 360 VR viewing. But I find that just regular YouTube VR is the best. It's free, it's searchable, it has an outrageous variety of content, and this is extremely important for me because my disability means that I am not physically able to travel at the moment. For those of you that have seen this channel, I love traveling. I love going to crazy places all over the world and doing different things, but I can't do that. But what I can now do with the MetaQuest 3S is I can watch 4K 360 VR travel vlogs from around the world, and it makes me feel like I can travel the world from my bed, and that's just a huge boon to my mental health. There's no shortages of other fun 360 VR video experiences either. There's music videos, which I love. I'd strongly recommend the one from Nightclub, which you're seeing a preview of now. There's VR extreme sports videos. There's all these abstract flying through space Mandelbrot fraction videos that are great when you're stoned. And the amazing thing for me is that most of the video app watching apps work fantastically in laying down mode. There are, however, some drawbacks. Gaming in laying down mode is a little bit rough because the vast majority of games were just not designed with this mode in mind. So despite having really good hardware support, most games don't play quite right when you're laying on the bed. There's a game called Pillow, if I'm not mistaken, which is designed for laying down. It's like a meditative calming experience, but it's not as fun as Beat Saber, right? And when you're laying down, your head positioning is often a little bit odd because the headset likes to select the floor instead of the bed for its boundaries. So I quite often find myself feeling like I'm sitting a foot or two forward, like a little bit forward in the camera, because I'm laying a few feet off the ground in the bed. This can be remedied by taking more time to define boundaries, to define the floor, to do some manual adjustments and things like that, but it is often a little bit wonky. Beyond this, just turning your head left or right is a lot less comfortable in bed with a couple of pounds of weight on your face, and there's probably a limit to how much of that you could or should do before your neck gets sore, which means you mostly need to be doing look straight forward type experiences. You don't need a lot of head turning or up and down. You'll just kind of crick your neck doing that. And the controls for most games are not designed to work horizontally. You might be surprised at how hard it is to hold controllers upright out of the bed, just a little bit of weight, let all the blood drain out of your hands. Just hold your arms up for hours and hours. It's not very good. You don't want to do that. And I don't think that's just me having a weak hands type problem. Oh, and a physical feature I almost forgot. The default strap for the Quest 3S has really, really thin sort of stretchy Velcro and fibers on it, which a lot of people don't like. They'll go for more premium, more comfortable leather-bound straps. But in this case, that thinness actually makes it way easier to lay down because the thinner your strap, the less impact on your head when you lay down. So the default strap is really good for laying down mode. So despite having some downsides and being a little bit wonky, I still really enjoy the laying down mode. It's by far the best and lowest cost way for me to enjoy high quality 360 VR content while comfortably laying down in the bed. And there are some other products that now support this feature, but most of them are prohibitively expensive, like the Apple Vision Pro, or the feature's just not as well developed. I have been for years wanting a laying down mode experience type of device, and I got exactly that for $300, and I am extremely happy with the design of the Meta Quest 3S, and want to take a moment to talk about some of its more normal features, specs. We're going to do an unboxing and then a mini review. So let's cut to the unboxing and the review will be next. Meta Quest 3S. This video is absolutely sponsored by Meta. They decided to hook me up with the Quest so that I could try out laying down mode. So the headset, very gingerly, that lifts straight out of the box, nothing locking it down at all. We've got, this is very important. It's a connector piece for your front of the headset. It's like for your nose and face and stuff. Okay. And we've got two very ergonomically designed controllers here. One of the good things about Meta Quest headsets is that the strap system on these is very, very simple. We just have regular Velcro straps. This one in particular has a USB-C port so that you can hook it up to computers or recharge it. We have our, 6 different sensing cameras? I think it's 4 cameras and 2 infrareds. I know each camera is sensing a very slightly different thing about your room so that you can go hands-free wireless without needing a computer or to be hooked up to anything. One of the things I also like about Meta Quest is the controller design. What I really like is the design of the trigger and paddle underneath. We're going with a single trigger, not double like most consoles, but then we're adding an almost scuff-like paddle on the side where you would reach your hands around and grab it. So it feels, in my opinion, very natural. I do enjoy these controllers. And that's all for this unboxing. I've got to charge the headset, set up the software, get laying down mode enabled, and start testing some stuff out. But if you're interested in the Meta Quest, really any of them, but especially the Quest 3S, you can click the link down there below because this video is sponsored by Meta. A couple of the fun features from the Quest 3S is that setup is really fast. I was able to set this up and get my boundaries and stuff going faster than any other VR headset. The pass-through mode has a physical button called the action button, so no matter what, you can always hit a physical button. It will instantly disable the game world. You swap to the 360 cameras and you can see what you're doing. The thing very easily reads play spaces and boundaries. It very easily reads hand gestures in an impressive way. I find myself actually using the hand gestures more than the controller. The only downside is you can't kind of pull them in tight. You kind of have to keep your hands in view of the headset. It's also PC compatible with either Wi-Fi or USB-C. So if you want to hook this up via Steam or Steam Link or something like that and run your Steam games, you can totally do that. The specs on the Quest 3S are somewhere in between the Quest 2 and the full Quest 3. It has high definition resolution of 1832 x 1920 pixels per eye. That's a little bit less than the Quest 3. Field of view is 96 degrees horizontal and 90 vertical, which is about 10 to 20 degrees less than the Quest 3 again. Frame rate caps out at 120 hertz, which is great, though it's very commonly 72 to 90. Those are more common ones that you see in games. And if you're watching videos on YouTube, you're doing good to get 60 FPS. A lot of them be like 24 FPS for some reason. The lenses in the Quest 3S are Fresnel lenses with 3 position interaxial adjustment distances, which is 3 interpupillary distance adjustments, which is more rudimentary than the Quest 3. One of the ways that it is better than the Quest 3 is it has a longer battery life of about 2.5 hours. Comes in 2 storage options, 128 gigs and 256 gigs, depending on how many games you want to install on the headset, because the headset runs PC free. You actually don't need a PC to play most of the games on this. It has built-in speakers, which work well. They're kind of bassy. They're kind of like actually big, beefy speakers for being as small as they are. And I've seen reviews and comparisons. Apparently the speakers and audio quality on the 3S is better than the Quest 3. And most importantly, it costs $299 for the standard version, which is a very low-cost VR headset. And I think it's by far the lowest cost headset that supports proper laying down mode. So that's kind of a big benefit. So compared to the Quest 3, it's got slightly lower resolution, slightly lower field of view, slightly lower quality lenses, a little bit less adjustable. It doesn't have a 3.5 millimeter jack for other speakers, not that you're going to need them. And, you know, it works better on PC wired than it does wirelessly. So I think it's a very appropriate scaling that the quality decrease you get compared to the Quest 3 is less than the savings in price. So the quality decrease from the Quest 3 to the Quest 3S, relatively small, but real. Quest 3S, considerably cheaper. And why does this matter for me as a disabled gamer? Well, this is a complete game changer for me. I no longer feel stuck in bed like I once was, or stuck at home, I should say. I'm still definitely in the bed. And I know it's false in that sense. I'm not traveling, I'm not out in the world doing the thing, but it does let me feel like I can explore more of the world. I can even attempt to play video games on this thing if I want to. And all the other features are pretty great too. Easy setup, hand gestures, easy use. It's a very supportive strap. The Quest 3S is invaluable to me, and I think it's the best product that Meta has put on the market in the last 20 years, and that includes software. I think the Quest 3S is better designed than Instagram or Snapchat or any of those kind of things. So we talked about some of its downsides. It's not a perfect headset. The Quest 3S definitely has some flaws, but I believe those flaws are overshadowed greatly by its low cost and ease of use. So if you want to get one of these, if you want to buy anything on the store, accessories, whatever, get into VR, I've got links down there below in the description. Just commission sales, so anything you buy, I get a little cut of, supports your creators. Thank you to Meta for sponsoring this video, despite the amount of trash that I often talk about the company on social media. And thank all of you for watching and supporting the video. I appreciate it. Guys, that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.